Welcome to Gotta Ping. I'm Mei Ping, the founder of Gotta Ping. As a next-gen leadership coach, I help high-performing young executives and entrepreneurs like you to navigate complex people and problems with top-notch communication and leadership skills to create sustained success. In today's podcast, I want to talk about my signature Ping method, PHING, that I use for coaching young executives and entrepreneurs. It is definitely the game-changing approach you need to know to become a high-performing young leader. Over the next 5 days, I will be going into each part of the PHING: personality, hacker, ideas, navigate, and go-getter, so that you can get a bit more insights as to this coaching model that I use for clients that work with me. So the Ping method. Today we are only going to talk about I, which stands for ideas, and why generating ideas are important. I am a huge advocate of creativity. I think that if you don't have creativity, that means that your mindset is very locked, and your ability, I think, is pretty stuck as well. So this part of my coaching program is really focused on exploring possibilities and creating ways that align with your personality, right? Remember, the first part is always personality, that can help you overcome challenges and achieve your big goals. So I'm a huge believer that in order to move forward and in order to really think outside the box, then you need to continue to generate ideas and be open to different ways of doing things, right? Another skill that definitely comes in handy here is adaptability. So I have separate podcast episodes talking about creativity, adaptability, and whatnot, so you can feel free to check it out later. But the key point is this: the world is changing at a rapid pace, and if you just move away from like the macro big picture, and let's just kind of zoom in to your career, whether it's in a company as well as your relationships with your stakeholders and whatnot, that is a dynamic that's always changing. A lot of my clients are working in global multinational companies where they would have to work with many departments, many countries, with people from different backgrounds, different cultures, different priorities, of course. And if you have a very stuck mindset of wanting to do things the way they were, like you like the old way of doing things, and you're very critical of the future plane of work, then you are missing out, right? And one thing I've found is that people seem to think that generating ideas is something that's very difficult. I guess it's easy to get comfortable doing what we are doing currently, so used to doing. And like for myself, I'm very active on LinkedIn, and I create a lot of content, and I constantly get asked, how many hours does it take to come out with content? And, when you're recording all these podcasts, how long do you prepare? Like, how do you overcome your writer's block and whatnot? These are really very, very good questions. Very good questions. And sometimes, when I share the truth to them, at least my truth, people find it very difficult to understand and accept that I literally just take minutes to create a piece of content. So today, I'm gonna share with you some tips, and as usual, it's just gonna be in the form of questions. So today I have 2 questions. If you don't have a notepad or a piece of paper or a pen right next to you, I suggest you go get it now, because it's always helpful to kind of jot things down as we go along, and there's something that you can take away and work on right after this, listening to this podcast. All right, so question number 1. What is the real why that truly motivates you to achieve your goal? Like, what is the why? What actually are you trying to achieve? What is the real objective? I've found that a lot of times, ideas seem really difficult to come by because we are very focused on the nitty-gritty, like the small stuff. How do I do this? How do I do that? What is step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, blah, blah, blah. And it kind of distracts you from actually what you need to do. And I have personally used this why, understanding the big picture, the key objectives, that's helped me a lot in my career. If you guys don't know my background, I used to lead multinational teams, across 43 markets. We were running multi-million-dollar projects, and everything was pretty much under control because I was very, very clear as to the why am I doing something, what is the key objective. Then that allowed me to be more flexible as well as creative to try out different methods and things that could still achieve the same objective, even though it deviated slightly from the process that we were all very used to. Of course, it also helps that I was pretty much running a pioneer team with like new projects that I was given slightly bit of leeway. But all in all, it's really important to understand why and what is the key objective. Like, what actually are you trying to get out of this? Because if not, then you'll always feel very stuck as to, okay, there's a lot of boundaries and limitations and you can't do this and that. And after a while, you're just going to give up on ideas and just going to sit around and just say, you know what, I'm just going to follow instructions, which is really not good for your career or your growth. The second question is, what are some of the things that you are open to trying out that can get you out of your own comfort zone and, of course, and help move you one step ahead? What's helpful here is to know and to find out, identify what's your comfort zone. What are some of the things that you have considered trying, but you ended up not doing it because you were afraid, or you're afraid of judgment, you feel that you couldn't do it, right? So this one obviously ties back to my earlier episode, the earlier part where I talked more about hacking and rewiring your mindset. So identifying your comfort zone first. And like I always say, it's not possible to go from 0 to 100 in one try, but you can take one step ahead. So it's to really ask yourself, what is the one thing that you are willing to do, like you'll be open to try out? Just one thing, right? Once you do that one thing, and then you do 2 things, and 3 things, and 4 things, and before you know it, you're just gonna keep moving forward. The stumbling block for a lot of people here is that they just think so far ahead that they're just not even gonna bother with taking that one small step. So everything starts with really a small step, right? Just one little step here, trying this out, that out, and whatever not. So this podcast, I started almost 2 months ago. Before that, I have no clue, how do I do this whole podcast thing? I mean, I've heard a few, but I've never really figured it out. But then I asked myself, what is the why? I want more people to learn about all these skills that we're not necessarily taught in school. And even if you were taught at a certain point, I have learned that most people are not taught how to apply it correctly. So they just learn it as some sort of knowledge, but they don't actually know how to apply. So this is critical and important for you. If you are very clear on like what is your biggest goal, like what is the impact that you want to make, then it's a lot easier to try out different things, to be open and say, okay, you know what, like I don't have all the answers, but I know that this is this one thing that I can do. And just start with one thing here and one thing there. And over time, it's just going to be, okay, you know what, before you know it, you have taken so many steps, and, there could be wins along the way, little surprises as well. And that's when you celebrate. That's when you say, you know what, I am okay, I'm doing really well. I can then set bigger goals. I'm a true believer that, don't be afraid of ideas. Ideas is what creates our world. If we don't have ideas, then we'll be still living in shacks, right? So embrace creativity, embrace adaptability, and openness to ideas. So that's it for this ideas part of my coaching model. And if you want a written form of the questions that I shared with you guys today, you can hop on over to my website at www.gottaping.com, where you can download your free Ping Method guide. Just sort of key in your email address and I will send it directly to your inbox. So I will see you in the next episode. Bye. Thank you for joining me today. If we have not yet connected, I look forward to connecting with you. You can find me on my website, www.gottaping.com, on LinkedIn, as well as Facebook. The links to my profiles are in this episode's description box. I can't wait for you to join me in the next episode of my Gottaping podcast. Till next time, bye!